All right, good day, my friends. We are headed to Rockford today, Rockford, Illinois. Not just because of the peaches, we've done that stuff before. I want to go to the Hard Rock Casino that they just put this giant Rick Nielsen Cheap Trick guitar in front of. Daze with Jordan the Lion and you all. It begins right now. Now, I don't know if the casino's new or if just putting the Rick Nielsen guitar is new, but I just saw maybe a month ago a photo of them unveiling it and Rick out here. So I wanted to come check it out because this is the hometown of Cheap Trick, and there's a man known for an amazing guitar collection is definitely Rick Nielsen. So obviously my hope is to see a pretty amazing rock and roll collection in here, including a Cheap Trick collection. They even put out here on the side of the building a Cheap Trick song. One of the things I love about Cheap Trick so much is not only the amazing songwriting, but I've seen interviews with Rick Nielsen where they'll say, who's your favorite singer of all time? And he'll say, Robin Zander. Says Robin can do everything that I always looked for in a rock and roll singer and everything I like about rock and roll. So it's pretty rare that you see somebody who's been in a band for as long as these guys have been in a band and that they still like each other. Let's go check it out. In the back of the guitar says love all, serve all, which is the Hard Rock Cafe's slogan. All right, we got guitar theming everywhere, including on the door handles. Who can argue with that? And a little Peter Gabriel playing. As soon as you walk in, they have a couple of Farm Aid signed guitars. This is from Farm Aid 3 when it was held in Lincoln, Nebraska. And this is Farm Aid 5. Of course, this was a Willie Nelson, John Mellencamp deal. There you can see Dave Alvin signed it right there. All kinds of signatures on here. Oh, check out on the pickguard, Joe Walsh. One of my favorites. If you've never heard it, go get Joe Walsh's album called But Seriously, folks. It's amazing. There's John Kay from Steppenwolf. Oh, and there's James Burton. They just did like a big thing for the Country Music Hall of Fame with him. James Burton, Elvis's guitar player. Wow, that is the ceiling. How cool is that? That is amazing. What a great theme. I just looked up right above where we walked in, the entrance. They do have Cheap Trick stuff all the way across. Starting with the drummer, Dax Nielsen, who is Rick's son and took over for Bunny Carlos. Got a signed drum head, some sticks. Nice. And there's Rick's guitar. This guy's got so many freaking guitars, it's insane. And then Robin Zander, an American flag Strat. And that's Tom Peterson's bass. Then they do have a section for Bunny Carlos. Now I don't know if there's bad blood between them or not. I thought what I heard was that he chose to retire and then wanted to come back, and they had already replaced him with Dax and didn't want him to come back. It's from what I understood. Somebody fill me in. If I'm wrong, let me know. Wow, nice collection as soon as you walk in. It's Taylor Swift's. Probably the most popular artist in the world right now. And then that prison outfit is Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, who recently announced that they're retiring. They're done. Steven can't do it anymore. March of 2012, Rick Nielsen of Cheap Trick visited backstage in American Idol to say hello to his friend and idol judge Steven Tyler. Tyler shared a photo of himself with Nielsen and fellow judge Randy Jackson on Twitter with the caption, "Look who stopped by, the Love Shack at Idol." A black and white striped outfit was worn on stage by Steven Tyler. Very cool. All right, so I just asked and they said, yeah, the casino's only been open like 2 months. This is a display for sticks. It's James Young's jacket, that gold jacket. Pretty cool. Nice jacket. Then a Taylor guitar of his. Some signed boots. And then some jeans that he signed. You can see it says Sticks on there with his name and a velvet shirt, black velvet shirt. That mask up there is Al Jorgensen's from Ministry. Formed in Chicago in 1981, Al Jorgensen was the man who started it. The band's sound combines heavy metal, electronic music, and industrial. And then right below it, they have some goggles, kind of steampunk type goggles that belong to Mudvayne. Greg Tribbett from Mudvayne. And he kind of signed them around the outside. And then this costume was from Disturbed. So it looks like a lot of the stuff on the walls, like this stuff, are from Chicago-based bands. Styx and Disturbed and Mudvayne. Take a look at this. They have Kinky Friedman's hat. Kinky Friedman is a legend. And then one of Bob Dylan's hats right here. Man, they have a lot of stuff here as I look around. Bob Dylan's hat, which I just saw Bob Dylan in concert with Willie Nelson and John Mellencamp, and they have his harmonica in here. Very cool. I love Bob Dylan. So the one on the right, the white one, belonged to Mariah Carey, and the one on the left is Chicago native Jennifer Hudson. Give you guys a little closer look. And then Jennifer looks like also donated the jewelry and her shoes and everything from hers. Kind of a kimono looking thing. This was worn in Dreamgirls, it says. Then over here in the orange was Ashanti's dress. She wore this at the 2003 VH1 Divas Duets in Las Vegas. Ja Rule's suit, like some embroidery and stuff on there. And here we have Janet Jackson's shoes. Very cool, nice. Then right next to those are Beyonce's boots. Then over here we have a tambourine from Prince. That says that this was used and custom designed for Prince during his 1997-98 Jam of the Year World Tour. That is neat. And then Elton John's shoes right next to that. Black and gold glittery shoes, boots. So speaking of Chicago, the band Chicago, here's Danny's drum head. And this was the proclamation for when they got their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for Chicago. And a band signed guitar. This black dress on the wall is Gladys Knight. She wore this when she was inducted in the Grammy Hall of Fame, it says. This jacket belonged to the Prince of Soul, Marvin Gaye. He became one of the most successful singer-songwriters of the 60s and 70s. This was worn by Marvin Gaye during his live stage performances. It's very neat. And then this is worn by Chaka Khan and also signed by her. That is signed by the late great Charlie Watts, former drummer of the Rolling Stones. It says it's signed by Watts and other members of his quintet. That big thing is Nils Lofgren's from the E Street Band. It's his trampoline, and he would do flips on stage while performing with Bruce Springsteen, the E Street Band, and he signed it right there in the middle. Health and Happiness, Nils Lofgren. And then this acoustic guitar is David Crosby's and signed by David Crosby. One belonged to Ariana Grande. Says she wore it for some of her meet and greets with fans. That's kind of crazy because it's very see-through. This is great. Look over here, we've got one of Rick's other guitars. That is awesome. And he signed it in the bottom. Get a little closer to it there. Then this was Jennifer Lopez's outfit. J-Lo. And the suit down here is David Bowie's. David Bowie's pinstripe suit. It says he wore this for his photo shoot for the images of the cover of the Black Tie White Noise album. This is a handwritten note letter from Louis Armstrong. Now we found like a whole room of Cheap Trick stuff. That's Rick's costume, 2 of his guitars. That is awesome. Man, what an awesome guitar player. Supposedly a heck of a nice guy too. And there he is. Look at that jacket. Like a Nike jacket. Another one of his Hamer guitars. And then look at this, the Dream Police stuff. Definitely one of the greatest rock and roll songs ever, I think. You can see inside the hat it says Rick. That's also Rick's suit, and here's a Hamer guitar that has the Beatles on it that was his.
Oh yeah.
On the fretboard. So that's Rick's black acoustic guitar. This is his Elvis Presley guitar from his personal collection. And that is his personal Black Martin acoustic guitar also. Further that you go down, there's more. Which this is what I wanted, so 1984 custom shop. Les Paul, but it's got like the, almost like the Hamer head to it. That is not a typical Gibson head, but that's the custom shop about it. And it has a whammy bar, which that never happens on a Les Paul almost. This was his custom jacket that he wore for USO appearances. All the police badges and stuff on it. There's his USO badge. Wow, that is a 1953 Gibson Les Paul Standard, all gold. One of the most collectible guitars ever built. One of the earliest. That is his personal. Then check out these pants. Pants and tie. That red one's also really expensive. That's a 56 Gibson Les Paul TV Junior Special in Cardinal Red. It says, often worn with other guitars before the 5-neck came into being, Nielsen would use multiple guitars, so this was one of them. He would just stack them up on top of him. And this is a 1960. Oh, so it says 1958 to 1960 are highly collectible, and this is Rick's 1960 Gibson Les Paul Standard. Oh, wow. Look at this side. We've got a Batman guitar. We've got a, looks like a Felix the Cat guitar. I've never seen these. And there's like a Bone costume that he would wear, because he just has a great sense of humor. He likes to be funny, likes the humor of it all, and the chaos of it. So like, take a look at that guitar. It says Felix on the fretboard in red. There's a picture of him with some of his guitars. And then that looks like that would have been the front of one of his amplifiers. The speakers. And here's a limited edition of 50 DC Comics guitars that were commissioned. And it's a Joker guitar. With a green fretboard. They're just guitars galore, which I was totally expecting. Now this one says this was a custom shop Banjo Sexto. So it had lower 6 strings refer to bass tones. So this one had bass tones to it. And then check out this really crazy sweater of Rick's. This whole room looks like it's mostly Rick's stuff. When they were talking about before he had the 5 guitars for all the different tones, or like when he used to use 5 guitars, now he uses something like that. So this is a display from when they were inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Barclay Center in Brooklyn, and those are the scissors that they cut the ribbon with. They have a photo of them doing it. Now that's kind of crazy. That's a B.B. King guitar, and B.B. King, for some reason, signed it 3 times. It's kind of crazy. Wow, what a collection. Now let's get back to seeing some of the other artists. And then that is just a perfect wall for a photo op right there. Okay, so these overalls, recently retired Buddy Guy. Buddy Guy's Dickie overalls. And he even signed the whole side. Very cool. Blues Brothers. Yes. Blues Brothers hat and glasses. These were the ones from the film. And obviously they probably had more than just, you know, one for each, but it does say at the bottom, these sunglasses and hat were worn by John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd in 1980s Universal film, The Blues Brothers. See, right down there. Actually, all 3 of these things are Blues Brothers. That is John Belushi's suit from the movie. Wow. That is Jake Blues. And then this guitar is signed by Dan and John. Well, that's what it says, but I don't think so. What I'm seeing is Steve Cropper. That's who that is. That's Steve, that's not John Belushi. And I think that's Donald Duck Dunn. So I don't think this actually is signed by those 2. Okay, we got another one up here in the glass case. The jacket, shirt, and black jeans are Slashes from Guns N' Roses. And then that green dress up there is Carrie Underwood. More Rick Nielsen stuff. This gold top is, it says in 1965, Rick purchased this 1955 gold top for $65 with a case at the bookstore in Rockford. And then there's the customized case that he did from all of his stickers from touring and everything. And then that's his jean jacket with the big R up there at the top. And check out these pants. Holy Moses. Got every patch known to man, every company known to man on there. All the way down to the Stroh's bell bottoms. Wow, this is what I wanted to see, this kind of stuff in the round. Look at that sweater. There's just tons of guitars in here. This Flying V. Another amazing Flying V. And they credit him as being one of the people that brought the Flying V to the mainstream. This is a 1963 Fender Telecaster. Oh, wow. Wow, that has quite a story. It says Rick Nielsen brought this 1963 Fender Telecaster B-Bender when he was invited to work with John Lennon on the Double Fantasy sessions. Lennon played this guitar during the sessions and Rick let him borrow it until after they were finished. Yoko Ono returned the guitar to Nielsen some years later. Wow, so John Lennon and Rick both would have played that on Double Fantasy. And then this guitar says is one of Rick's favorites, 1958 Les Paul. Says it's his referred to as his #1 guitar, and he's used this guitar on recording nearly every album and every live performance that Cheap Trick's done. Now look at this sweater. You gotta love the guy. How fun is that? What a case. That's his 1958 Explorer. Only 19 of these ever built. One of the 2 that Rick owns. That is the Merle Travis model guitar that he owned. His Guild guitar. This was his other of the 1 of 2. There's one, there's the second one, and then there's the really famous 5-neck hammer guitar. One of them anyway. Let me check this one out. Even a Cheap Trick road case on display. Says this was worn in the music video for Dream Police, 1979. God, I love this. Being a big Cheap Trick fan, I haven't really got to do anything Cheap Trick yet. Even though there's a ton of things in Rockford I want to do, I'm hoping secretly to beat him somewhere and maybe get him to do a video with me. You never know. Very cool guitar. The Doctor. That's what that one's called. Look at the tips on those cowboy boots. It's like a gold pointy tip. Wow, take a look at those boots. All right, Rick, those are great. And they have one of his Grim Reaper box cabinets. Before he was in Cheap Trick, he had a band called Grim Reaper. And here we have a Beatles guitar. You can see their images on. Only 2 were ever made, they believe. The other belongs to Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin. And then this guitar says that he used this at Live at Budokan. Wow. And then those pants, those fringe, those were some of his pants from when he was in Grim Reaper. Looks like something Jim Morrison would have wore. Up here on the wall we have some pants of Kevin Cronin's from REO Speedwagon, some high-heeled shoes of Dolly Parton's, some silver high heels. It's Miley Cyrus's red sparkly guitar and one of Paul Stanley's Washburn guitars signed. That Yamaha belonged to John Lennon. It says that Rick was always a fan of the Beatles. In 1980, he got a call from Lennon to play on Double Fantasy along with Bunny Carlos on I'm Losing You and I'm Moving On. Keyboard was used by Lennon and Yoko during the production of Double Fantasy. Here's a Smashing Pumpkins symbol from the 2000 tour. They're also a Chicago band and friends of Cheap Trick. And then they have a guitar over here that says Don't Obey. Here's a guitar signed by Veruca Salt. I saw them in concert when I was a teenager. They opened for Bush. So they signed it all over the place. Here's a guitar signed by Garbage. So Butch Vig, the man who produced tons and tons of amazing records, including Nirvana. There is actually more that I'm showing you, but I'm showing you the stuff I feel like people that watch my channel would want to see. So I left off like the plain white tees and stuff like that. That dress up there is Laverne Baker's, who had a hit with the song Jim Dandy. And this was worn by Nancy Wilson of Heart, the guitarist of Heart. Now that's a real showstopper, that purple one up there, purple velvet. That's Chris Isaacs. Wow, take a look at that. This suit is Neil Sean of Journey. It doesn't look all that spectacular, but if you look on the sides, going down the sleeves of both sides, it has like hearts and stuff like that, so probably looks really good on stage. And then over here they have some drums and cymbals from the band OK Go. Everything is signed. Man, they really did an amazing job with this casino, I have to say. Everything about it, the memorabilia and everything they chose is just top notch. So I think that's probably going to do it for us today here at the Hard Rock Rockford. This was a fun experience even if you're not a gambler. Thank you everyone for watching today. We will see you next time. Have a great night and goodbye.